Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Ride and Raz. This is the WTRL Tuesday race, stage 3. Country to coastal.
3,
Now,
2, 1, 3 minutes.
I've been able to sneak in a 20-minute Ineos warm-up on this one, so as you can see,
Right.
I've
Kendall
got
Mint Company.
Kendall Milk Cake,
Raspberry and mint.
KFC, not sponsored,
Hey.
would like to be. Energy gel, so hopefully top that up because it's going to be a tough race. This is 45 minutes of hell at Cathay
It's nice.
with some incredible races. We're talking 34 kilometers length, 275 meters of climbing, but it's a real stinger with a first climb out the gates. As soon as we leave the pens, we've got about a kilometer, 3-minute effort, and it's going to be absolutely bananas. Everyone's going to hit that super hard. So I'm totally aware of that. The team is aware of that. We're racing as a 6, so trying to get maximum points here. And this is a points race, or as Zwift calls it, scratch race. So that's points for your finishing positions. So first gets maximum, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. And I think there's bonus points for the top 4 or 5 riders. So on this one, it's got a bit of climbing in it, so I'm going to drop in my MVs, the new MVs 4.5 Pros. I would normally put some sprinting ones on, but the end of the route for country to coastal has quite a long gradual climb, including a little kick up to the finish line. And what we've seen on previous races today on people's streams is that the power-ups are a little bit all over the place, but supposedly according to WTRL they're all fixed. So the power-ups are all fixed for this race, and each banner will give a specific power-up. So that'll be draft first, anvil second, steamroller third, feather for the 4th, and burrito for 5th. And I'm planning to save my feather as much as possible to the very, very last climb, just before the banner of the burrito. Use my feather up the climb and then burrito anyone
Just
behind
me
me.
and you in here.
So yeah, let's see how we get on. Basically, I'm just trying to hold on for dear life.
There's Tom as well.
Look at doing 2 or 3 minute max efforts in the climbing, and see where I can finish up. Hopefully in the top 20, because it's a real big mix of fellow score 1 riders and fellow score 2s. So 10 seconds to go. Let's have it.
Alright, well, I don't think there's going to be many comms. Right. Off we go, gents.
So as you might have heard there, the team have planned no comms, just heads down and focus on surviving this. So this is about 1.4 kilometers at about 3.5%. And you can see the pace is already quite high, 5 watts a kilo. But I am expecting it to hit 7 or 8 watts a kilo on these steep sections. And straight away, everyone gets a burrito to start, which I didn't really expect actually, because I didn't expect the banner. So it all went burrito mad. Taco Bell Central really, and I thought I'd hold on to my burrito here. Hold on to the riders in front if possible, and use my burrito a bit later to have an impact on riders behind me who are struggling. Try and give a gap. Because there was always a potential on this first climb to build a gap, even though it's a about 15 kilometer gradual descent afterwards. But there's always a chance a group at the front, strong riders, can break away. But as you can see now already, we're up to 6 watts a kilo. And we're already a minute and a half in. And looking at my power graph below, it is all red. And it's only going to get redder. So the plan is also to try and make sure we keep an eye on our teammates. Try and get all 6 of us up in the front, as close to the front as possible. That gives us a good chance of scoring our maximum points, which is what we need really, because we're competing against some very difficult teams, including Hexagon, and there's also Wahoo team, the Wahoo team, who are really strong, who are currently top of the table in our group. And even though we've been going now for 2.5 minutes, the pace has kicked up again. 5.5, 6 watts. So it wasn't as bananas as I was expecting. It wasn't that kind of 7-8 watts sprinting to break. But I think there's a realization that people were saving themselves for this. And after doing some course recon, the reality is that that middle climb, right bang in the middle, although only a small little bump in the road really, you're looking at the overview of the route on the top right, that's where things are going to go off. And it's going to be really attack minded and focused on that one, which will definitely split the group up then. So yeah, survived over the top, and I think all the team did too. In fact, I know I did. No, they all did. We all do fantastic there. So solid 3-minute effort, now recovery. And just got to be aware of what's going up on ahead. So that's that second banner. So that's a draft boost on the village sprint. And now I'm going to hold on. What I'll do today is I'll fast forward some of the sections that have no action in it, just because it is a long route and nobody wants to sit and watch 52 minutes of me riding on Zwift, chatting away to you guys. So I'll move this one along. So about halfway through that downhill, coming up to the next sprint, I've used my draft boost to kind of keep hold of everybody. But as you can see, I think the pack got a bit bored with the pace, so it's really strung out 5.5 watts. There's my teammate Ray, tactical watts. And the trick here is not to get left at the back, or you're gonna get dumped, especially with the new draft dynamics. If you kind of stretch out too far, you're going to really struggle to stay on. So yeah, finally come back together. I'm going to come through the sprint edge about 7.5k, and this one's an anvil one. What's quite funny is that Ray and myself were surprised by this, even though we've both done quite a lot of recon, that we got an anvil, but that's what the plan was. It was meant to be anvils, and this will be useful for the downhill section coming up, especially for some of the lighter riders. So at this point, I got a little bit too comfortable with the racing, so I thought I'd pick it up the pace to see if the group reacts. About 5.5 watts, a respectable effort. Let's string them out a little bit, see if this pack wants to work, because it is flat in here. And as you can see straight away, some of the Wahoo Riders jump in. There is a guy off the front 10 seconds, P-fell, but the reality is with this pack that we're chasing down, going up on your own, especially this far out with the descending left and a little bit of climbing, there's just no chance you can go solo. And I think the team reacted well, they understood what I was doing. So already Tom's with me, Dave's with me, Stefan's with me, TJ's coming up, and so is Ray. So, there he is, there's Ray. So all 6 of my team out in front, which is nice, I like that. There we are, all 6 of us in a row, leading the pack, and controlling the pace, which is what we want to be doing. So
it's kicked up a little bit.
before the racing happened, I made a few predictions about where the attacking might be, and one of those was this rolling section just as we come into the flat before the first climb, and straight away it's spot on. The pace really ramps up, it all strings out. The second spot will be after the first climb. There's a little bump in the road, and you can see it on the profile on the right, just before the last sprint banner, the green one. And the attacking will be there as well. So as you can see, it ramped up to about 5 or 6 watts here, just to kind of keep me on the front, but the pace is really high here. People are dropping burritos, really messing things up for everybody. I think the burrito is a love-hate thing, a bit like Marmite for everybody. Some people love it, some people hate it. There's even members in the TNP crew who hate it. I particularly like it, especially for things like ladder racing, because it gives you an onus to keep attacking, to push forward, so that dropping anyone behind you, and then they have to work hard to chase back on, which attack is the best form of defense, as they say. So as you can see, once again, significant proportion of TNP riders here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 I think here. Myself, Stefan, Dave, Tom. I can see TJ is behind us in the list, he's only a second behind. And Ray will be here there somewhere, he always is. So pushing along nicely. So yeah, this is a lead up to the first climb. And that first climb is the Shisha Sprint climb. And this will be not too much of a kind of gradient, 3.5% I think it is overall, but there's some red in it, and this is going to be an attack point here for sure. And some people will save the burrito for it, just to offset people using them as draft for the climb. So again, this is going to be another threshold effort, something I've worked a little bit on, but going forward I'm going to build a training plan to improve my 2 to 3 minute climbing efforts, especially out of the saddle, and I'll try and document that in my videos, and we'll see if we get any improvements really.
Right, we've got to get over this climb in the front pack. This is where it split apart in the last A race.
So as you can see, a relatively calm start to this climb. Just 5 watts a kilo. Now up to 6, 7 watts, and they're really pushing it, trying to break up this group. And this is what I knew would happen, especially after all the recon videos of the previous races that had happened during the day. And it looks like it's going to finish on that blue section, but it does keep going afterwards. So I really have to just keep pushing myself. A couple of people are dropping burritos. Now, it doesn't just affect the riders behind directly, but it's got like a cone of effect, which is goes past quite far. So that's hit me quite hard, that last burrito. And I'm really pushing myself to just maintain 6 watts, 6 and a bit watts, just consistently to keep up with those ahead of me. Because if I start dropping off too much, I'll just get flung out the back. But this is a hard effort. I'm in the red. I am working hard. So out of the saddle even, this is something I've been trying to work on. Getting enough power down out of the saddle. You see, I'm trying to find the right gear. I still haven't worked it out quite yet with my watt bike. What's the right gearing for me for doing a nice climbing pace? And I can see the group ahead of me. I have dropped off a little bit, but I know I can make that back up. Their pace isn't crazy here. Someone has dropped a burrito, which really affects me to get back on. Luckily, there's a couple of riders coming up now, and I can take that advantage to help me across. And just keep powering over the top and join back on to, yeah, as you can see, 6 watts a kilo, 5.5, and just get onto that tail end of that climbing pack. Because behind me, the group has split 1-2 seconds. As you can see, Ray behind me, but I know with slight weight advantage over me, he'll be able to cruise on back down the hill towards us, I think. And there we have it. That's that second climb over. Just about held on, and the plan is to come back together and hit that next banner, which will be a steamroller. And we've done 20 odd kilometers already. It's flying along. So it's now downhill towards the flat. There will be a little kicker, tiny little kicker bump in the middle of that flat before the kind of long cruisy climb up to the finish.
Fucking hell.
So this is I dropped my steamroller just onto this little attack point, which I kind of predicted would be. I let my team know as well that they're just going to be aware of that. And as you can see, the pace has kicked up. 5 watts a kilo, 5.5 watts a kilo. The guys off the front doing 6.5. I think I dropped my steamroller a bit too late. The advantage of steamroller is that it helps in kind of rough terrain, which could have been useful at this point as well, but I didn't really use it very well there. But I've survived that little attack, and now it's the lead into the long climb, and the pace is still very high. You can see that we've made a gap to some riders behind us, including 3 of our competing team, Wahoo, and we want to try and keep that pace high to keep them off and coming back on, because we want to get maximum points over them, try and take the top of the table. So here we are coming into the base of that last climb towards the finish. So it's a bit of a steep section, 4-5%, and then it will be a kind of long, gradual few kilometers up to the last sprint. I got a feather on that last climb banner, and I'm planning to hold on to that as long as possible, and in theory hold on to it just before the last banner of Burrito. Use my feather, help me over the climb, and then Burrito's anyone who's trying to draft me to the finish. But again, this is another decent effort to stay on to the back of this group, or with this group anyway. My teammates are doing really well. I'm really pushing to be competitive and stay in the front pack to try and gain as maximum finishing points in this scratch race. It's a bit longer than I thought it would be, so in my head it was a bit shorter. Maybe the profiles threw me a little bit, so I'm kind of hurting a little bit here. I'm not maximum power and not maximum heart rate, but it's been a tough race to race on. So this is a fairly deceptive climb, even though I've survived, I think, that section. The pace is still pretty high, and they're still kind of going up. Ray's just behind me there as well. Everything is still full gas, 4 or 5 watts a kilo. And I'm really struggling to hold their wheels, but thankfully came back on, get back into that little pack, and just push myself over this last little bit, which then hopefully will lead us to being kind of cruising up to the end. I think at this point, unfortunately, our teammate Ray, Tactical Watts, drops off a little bit just because of how high the pace is, 5 watts a kilo. And it's really hard when this is going quickly to stay on. I'm struggling really hard here. They're strung out quite a lot. And as my title says, in my head I'm just shouting, just hold on. And this group is really stretching. And you see I throw my head down. I'm tired here. This is, yeah, I'm on the edge a little bit, I think. Just of survival mode. The dust being kicked up here always throws me as well, so you can't really see who's behind you. And as we come into these rolling sections over the bridges through the waterfalls, which are very pretty. It's very nice. I'm worried about getting dropped here, so I really want to stay on the back as best I can and just not get kicked or spat out, because like I say, with the new draft dynamics, even if it's just a little bit of a gap, you start losing the effect and then they just disappear up the road. So I'm doing 5 watts here just to hold on, which is fairly ridiculous to me, honestly. So here we are, 3 kilometers to go. I can see the pack is split into 2 now, and I'm off the back by a couple of seconds. And I'm really fighting the urge to give in here. So I put a last little 5.5 watt dig in. Can't really see what I'm doing here, how close I am. Just to catch up. This felt like forever, I'll be honest with you. Looking back at it now, it's only a few seconds, but it felt like absolutely forever to try and catch onto the back of this group. And I don't know if it was planned, but it was very fortunate that one of my teammates, Stefan, was just hanging off a little bit further off the back. So as I come around this corner here and jump into his draft, and it just makes that last 100 meters, 50 meters, whatever, easier to pull back into the group. And I've got to get some recovery in here quickly, because we're only 2 and a bit kilometers to the line. My heart rate's 180 beats per minute, and we're going to be going bananas up that hill. It's taken a lot out of me, that little section, as you can see, all red for a section. So here we go, about a kilometer left, 1.1, and people start going already, just to get that head start, I think, up the climb. Where the flat section is, it's easy to sprint, I think. A couple of Hex Riders go, and the group just pick up its pace to hold on to them. And that's what I wanted to try and achieve. It's not a crazy steep climb. It's got a little steep kicker at the end, but it's not very long. And I'm saving my feather for that attack up the climb. In reality, looking back on it, I probably should have used my feather now to take full advantage of it. But I'm saving it for just before the archway here. I've lost a few spaces here, but here we go. Drop the feather and just try and cruise up and get some watts per kilos in. Nothing wild, nothing excessive, no sprinting. Maybe I should have sprinted, I don't know. But I didn't really have it in my legs to do that. Some people dropping burritos. drop my burrito here, and hopefully this Guerrero, who's just behind me, is doing more watts per kilo. I can hold him off to the finish. As you can see, everyone else is red sprinting, and I have nothing left. So there we have it, 46 minutes and 10. Country to Coastal. ZRL stage 3 done. 17th out of, was it 53 riders? Very pleased with that. It's and yeah, teammate Tom Adams coming second, which is absolutely brilliant. So thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed that. I kind of have tried to make it as brief as possible. It was an hour, hour in total with the warm up and the cool down. And yeah, next race will be the ladder race on Friday. I'm going to build myself a training plan to improve my 2 to 3 minute threshold climbing out of the saddle. Probably going to use ChatGPT for that. So you follow along and see how I get on with that. And if you enjoyed that, please like, comment and subscribe. Give me tips and tricks for streaming.
Got 7 seconds on him.
Oh, here we are at the end. Giving Ray some encouragement. Get over that line and beat that Wahoo rider who's just behind him, gaining on him. Ray smashes out of the park. There we go. Tactical watts, smashing out the watts. Thanks so much. Enjoy. Catch you in the next video. Please like and subscribe. Bye bye.